like coaches for a long time, we've glamorized this idea of tough love through coaches, and we've kind of serialized it through movies where we've Rocky's trainers giving them the tough love. But there is a line with tough love, and your coach well and truly crossed that line from a physical abuse sense, an emotional abuse sense, and then later as a sexual abuse sense. What was the first kind of telltale sign that you had that this is quite a toxic relationship?
Well, it was quite insidious at the start because he started with when I was 14 with emotional and verbal abuse, but it was always in the context of that's going to make you tougher, because when you're going to be on the start line, if you want to go to the world championships, you are going to be intimidated. There's girls that are going to tell you stuff. They're going to try to make you cry. They're going to push you. And I kind of believed it because at 14, I didn't have any other images or any other role models because I was training most of the time with him. And then, during the summer when I was doing the races with the girls of my team, we didn't really talk about that. And then one day I was doing, I don't know, it was winter time and I was doing a super hard training. We had this super long staircase on Mont Royal. So there's a World Cup for men, not a World Cup, but there's a UCI race for men in Montreal. And they go up that mountain. Well, on the other side, there's a staircase. So I would go hill repeats, running up and down that maybe 90-second staircase. And I had a bad day. And at some point, he hit me in the head. And I was crying and he broke my sunglasses and everything. And he said, you know what, that's going to make you tough. And if you're able to sustain my physical abuse and not cry and, just take the hits, it's going to make you a great cyclist. And it's stupid to say now, but I was like, maybe, because in a racing environment, it's like the jungle and you're going to be faced by all sorts of physical pain. And I kind of, in my 14-year-old head, wrap that around saying, yes, he's right. And, he's my coach. He's supposed to take care of me and do stuff that's good for me. So it started there. But after that, it went downhill pretty fast because I was good. I was already winning. And when I was 15, I won the national championships in the juniors. So against girls 2 years old, 2 years older than me. And that's when, sexual abuse started. And he told me he was in love with me. And mind you, he's 41, I'm 15. If I would leave him, he would commit suicide. Or if I would leave him, he would find me, kill me, and then himself commit suicide. He didn't care. So it started kind of there, and I didn't want to have the suicide of someone on my shoulders. And at the time, there was no Me Too movement. We were taught as women that if you get raped, it's probably your fault. So I couldn't tell that to anybody. So I lived with that, and I didn't want him to kill himself. So I just continued. But at the same time, I had that dream. I wanted to be a good cyclist, and I remember thinking at that time, I'm going to deal with the consequences later. I'm just going to move forward and it's going to go away, but it never does.
So is there a sense, and I know this is going to sound crazy for probably anyone apart from you, is there a sense that at the time it's like the end almost justifies the means? I'm winning races, I'm progressing, I have this dream and I'm moving towards this dream. So if there's side effects, you know what, I'll deal with those side effects because I'm going the direction I want to go.
You're absolutely right. That's what I was thinking at the time. And, people were proud of me. My family was proud. My friends were proud. I was, like you said, moving forward. And that goal of the World Championships, just a participation to the World Championships, was getting closer. And I loved my sport. I loved training. And since I was so isolated again, I didn't know if it was normal, if it happened to other girls. It was just like the way to go in sport as a woman was that. I had no idea. So, yeah, I just said, okay, I'm just going to keep my eyes on the prize and everything else around, we'll see later.
And I think the isolation piece is important to this, because I came up training with, 4 or 5 quite close friends, and we'd meet every single day for training. And I couldn't have bought a new pair of socks without the guys all knowing about it. Everyone be like, "Oh, new socks. Where did you get the new socks?" So they were intimately involved in every aspect of your life. But if you don't have those close training partners, there's nobody to notice those days when you're coming in either physically or mentally bruised.
You're absolutely right. And, in Quebec in the late 90s and early 2000s, women's cycling was extremely small. There was maybe 5 good women. And when I was 16, I moved to Arizona with him to train full time, when I graduated high school. And back then in Arizona, I hardly spoke English. We didn't know anybody. So no one knew. My parents didn't really see what was going on, because when I was coming back home, for a few weeks a year, I was putting on my best face because I didn't want them to, be worried or to get me out of my sport that I loved so much. So yes, I didn't have that support where people could see me from day to day. People saw me like months with months in between.
So you moved at 16 years old away with your 40-plus-year-old coach.
Yeah. Well, how did it happen, I guess? When I turned 16, and I had won, Canadian championships and everything as a 15-year-old against juniors, he decided to quit his job to take care of me 100% full time. So, and he needs now money. So at 16, and that's where the EPO came in. So he needs money to pay his bills, constantly threatening me that, if you leave me, I'm going to commit suicide. And now, you're in charge of my financial health, because I'm going to lose my job. And if you look around, there's no other little girls that have a coach that's as dedicated as I am towards you. That's why they're not good. And he was kind of right.
If you enjoyed this video and you want to keep binge watching the content, check this video. It's a cracker. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way I can catch you in the next one. See you then.